Good morning, good day, everybody. Today is Bank of England interest rate. Hope you will enjoy the live coverage with Valeria, Bednarik, and Yohay Elam. Hi guys, how are you? There is no option for high rate today, right?
Hi, Yohay. Hi, Mauricio. How are you guys? Welcome all. Indeed, there's not much hopes for a change in the ongoing monetary policy in England. Sorry.
Yeah, we are
Starting
all thinking about the United States.
here today. Anyway, I was saying there is little chances of a change in the ongoing economic policy. I do believe that the market will focus mostly on the voting, right? How many members are going to vote for a rate hike? If we are going to see any change from last month 1.8, right? Or even if the central bank decides to assess all the global economic slowdown and the recent poor PMI services reading, right? I believe that those are the keys today.
Yeah. Good morning, Valeria. Good morning, Mauricio. Yeah, this time it's different because of of course, the meeting minutes that are released together. So we are expecting, as you said, no change. Probably also no change in the voting pattern. 8 against a rate hike and only 1 Ian McCafferty for a rate hike. As you said, services PMIs have been weak. On the other hand, we had wages going up in the United Kingdom. So that's a reason to see inflation is going up and to raise rates. But probably we won't have anything earth-shattering. In any case, I see that the pound is rising towards the event.
Yeah, it finally broke higher. I was watching in my forward charts that the pair has been stuck in this area, the 23.6% retracement of the latest bearish run, and all of a sudden we broke above it, and a couple of days we also broke the next few resistance. And overall, it has a strong upward potential, at least technically right now. But, well, a central bank in the way is it's something that we have to wait and see what happens now. Also, the ECB will release the minutes of its latest meeting, right? A few afterwards.
Yeah, 30 minutes later.
Exactly. So, and later on today in the American afternoon, we have the Fed minutes. So it will be a central bank day, and the market will be probably moving with those releases and then getting and wait for the next. So maybe not the best shiny super Thursday for the UK today, right?
Yeah.
Everything will remain the same, I think. No big decisions, no big headlines from central banks, so the status quo will remain unchanging. It's obviously status quo and unchanging.
Unless we have a surprise in the votes, I do believe that we are not going to see much from the Bank of England today.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a very, very, very small chance that another member will vote with Ian McCafferty for a rate hike. In this case, of course, the pound will jump, but very, very small chance. There's, I think, a bit of a better chance to have all 9 members voting against rate hike. In this case, it'll be dovish, and perhaps it can end the current rally of pound dollar, the recovery rally after it fell so sharply beforehand, of course. So, but if in case we have 8 against 1, copy-paste of the previous decision, I think the focus will shift back to the meeting minutes, the text itself, and depends on if they are worried about China, like the Fed, or a bit more bullish on the UK economy, that will determine the reaction.
Yeah, I do believe that already this year we have a 2-7 vote, right? So actually, we have a really strong supporting pound, meaning a more sustainable bullish trend. We actually need a 3-6 or something above, and it's quite unlikely for today, right? It will be a shock indeed, but it's quite unlikely.
Yeah, I think it. Well, in my ranking, we have 8 against 1, first place, then 9 against 0, and then 7-2.
Yeah, there's no 6-3.
7.
Okay, well, I mean, that will be a real shock and a real pound supporter in the longer term, right? But of course, it's something we will hardly see today. But anyway, making the case for the future.
Yeah, something we have to take into account regarding the Bank of England is that next month, in November, they also release their quarterly inflation report, QIR. Then they'll have new assessments about inflation, employment, the economy in general. So if we'll see a shift in voting pattern, it's more likely than not to be next time and not this time. But you know, as we have low expectations, that leaves room for any small surprise will be meaningful, of course. So
yeah. And
about the ECB meeting minutes, it's relatively new. The ECB didn't used to publish meeting minutes. It's minutes from the meeting back in September, so it's about 1 month old. At least it came before the Volkswagen crisis, and which has an impact on Germany, and before the recent data that is a bit more worrying about Germany, such as the trade balance. But anyway, we had a dovish message from Mario Draghi, so we'll see if that was shared with other members and how determined they are to expand QE. After that meeting in September, we heard different voices from the ECB, more talking about that they're not in a rush to add more QE. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to hear.
I was reading yesterday the market. There are market talks, market rumors that the ECB may be pledging for more quantitative easing even before the year ends. So I do believe that a non-hold stance or no QE extension announcement could favor the euro today.
Yeah. So we'll see if that was shared with the other members.
I'm hearing the echo of our own conversation with delay.
Yeah, it's not coming from me.
Let me check. It's not me either.
Sorry, what? Yeah, no. Everything is sound. Everything is okay. So no.
I'm hearing the echo of our own conversation in the background, but I have just checked and.
Perhaps is any another page that you have
No,
opened before from the live coverage. Anyway, I'm not listening.
Okay.
I'm not hearing any echo, so you can continue.
Okay.
Okay, and we have 5 more minutes, right?
Yeah, you remember that we are 30 seconds of delay, so you will see the interest rate decision a little bit late here, but we will be covering the reaction of the react of the reaction.
Yeah, so 5 minutes before we're at around 153.50. High for today was 153.72, and the low, well, was just around 153. What are you expecting, Valeria, from the Fed today, from the Fed minutes?
I don't know what to expect from the Fed. They are giving so confusing messages lately. Meaning they stay on hold in September and then they jump to the wires, every single Fed member to say, oh, I was thinking of a rate hike, but finally voted no. Oh, I do believe that we are still in the path. Oh, yeah, we are going to raise rates before year end. So actually, I'm not sure if the market's going to believe whatever they said today, right? But if they don't come with a really hawkish stance, and we are talking about the minutes of the latest meeting, which means they are not going to be hawkish, the dollar will suffer further, I do believe, today. But it's my take, yeah, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a bit confusing to talk about how markets could react because, well, the decision in September was dovish. They decided not to raise rates. They were worried about dollar, about China, about inflation, about employment.
Everything.
On the other hand, sorry?
Yeah, everything. And you worry about everything.
Yeah, but a week later we heard from Yellen and from Dudley and from Williams that they're still going to raise rates in 2015, right? And then we had the non-farm payrolls that were terrible.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so on one hand you have the minutes that were also from that meeting in September, but they were edited also this week. So revised, giving the finishing touches. So I don't know. I think it's going to be quite confusing for markets. We're going to have, as usual, 3 reactions: immediate reaction, Tokyo reaction, and then London reaction.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm really disappointed with the latest meeting, and further disappointed with the latest payrolls. I actually believe that we are not going to see a rate hike this year, and I do believe all the market is thinking pretty much as me, right? That we are not going to see a rate hike in this 2015. In fact, if you take a look at those polls, statistical polls, most market players.
I'll put it on the screen.
We are going to go to March. March will be the first rate hike.
Exactly. So in October, we're 95%, 94% against the rate hike.
Yeah.
In December, it's 61% against the hike, according to bond market calculations. In January, still 52%, and only in March we have a chance of rate hike according to bond markets.
Exactly.
But I think there's still a chance because maybe the NFP is a one-off. Maybe they want to raise rates and mitigate a bubble in stocks. But anyway, they'll remain data dependent, and we have 2 more NFPs until then.
Okay, 1 minute to go. Here we are, less than 1 minute to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, 8 against 1.
Yeah, the same.
Nothing changed.
Yeah, unchanged everything.
Yeah, pound dollar.
It's holding.
Looking for direction. Falling, yeah.
I do believe that speculative buying interest is defending pretty well the 53 region, and let's see what happens. But seems that the news are not bad enough to put the pair down, not good enough to send it higher, right? And well, pretty much what we were expecting.
Yeah, let's see the. Okay, so we had only 1 member voting for rate hike. I assumed it was the same one, Ian McCafferty. Let's see the headlines coming out of the meeting. We have. Sorry?
Yeah, I said I agree with you. Sorry.
Unit labor costs bearing down on inflation still. That means they're still sort of more dovish, more worried. I think that also explains the fall in the pound. But it's not a big fall. It's around 20 pips so far.
Yeah, pretty shy reaction. I do believe that the market will be waiting for the Fed before taking some strong action today. I guess we are going to have a long day ahead.
Oh, you know, the Fed is the boss right now. Sorry, the Fed is the boss. The Fed is the boss right now, so any big movement will be related to the Fed.
Yeah, dollar is king.
Yeah.
So, okay, we do have some movement in the pound. We do have 20 pips down from previous levels, or 40 pips down from the highs, currently at 153.30. So maybe everything was as expected, but we still have some kind of movements.
I'm reading that you're expecting inflation to remain below 1 point until spring 2016. Which is a bit dovish, but well, not something that can surprise us.
Yeah, I think they're looking at the glass half empty, at unit labor costs and not at wages, at inflation, which is partially transitory because of oil prices. Not always bad in the United Kingdom, but
yeah. I have this in West Texas Intermediate crude in the daily. We have broke that wage, but we have stalled on the daily 100 simple moving average. So it seems that oil can go higher after bottoming around 40 to 37 earlier today, this year, but still we need to take this 100 moving average out. But there's a good chance that we can add around up to here, 57, 58. That will be a probable bullish target in here if we take the 100 simple moving average. And if oil prices began to rise, that will be finally good for many economies that are having so many problems with inflation, with low prices in oil, sorry.
Yeah, I think also for the economy in the United States, it'll be better to have oil prices a bit higher. All in all, consumers have enjoyed a huge fall in oil prices, and if it rises a bit, it won't be too shabby. And on the other hand, it will help the shale industry, more high-paying jobs in Texas and in North Dakota, in these kind of states. So maybe the price of oil is a bit too low in the United States at the moment, but it's not at the sweet spot, as they say. Well, part of the meeting minutes in the UK, they talk about the fact that past appreciation of sterling likely to weigh on CPI. So they do complain a bit about the exchange rate, but they talk about it in past tense. So, well, because the pound did fall quite a bit from previous highs, so maybe it's not that bad. It fell against the euro. Sorry?
I mean, central banks complaining about the exchange rate, it's something that the market cares little about, right?
Yeah, because everybody's complaining. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But meaning the market does not pay attention to what central bankers says when they start complaining. Sometimes it may affect prices, but it's really hard to consider that a market mover, right? Their complaints.
Yeah, in New Zealand they complained for a few years about the exchange rate.
And they do even intervene the market, and what they did nothing. That didn't help. I mean, sorry, I'm having a bad day.
The euro pound is going up. It's reacting to the upside 20 pips, 25 pips. Not a big movement, but
yeah, the pound is falling across the board. Cable at 153.25. Euro pound, that you mentioned 73.70. You see resistance there at 74 and then 74.40. And in the morning show, I get usually lots of questions about pound yen. So pound yen is sliding as well, 183.60 after quite a few days of recovery. Pound yen had the similar pattern like pound dollar. Now it's moving back down, well, just a bit.
Because the Japanese yen dollar, this particular cross. Yeah. I was taking a look at the daily. I had this Fibonacci retracement of the latest weekly decline when we have that Black Monday coming from China, and we hit 16. And the fact is that it has been steadily trading in between Fibonacci levels. And moreover, we have these long waves in candles, but no bodies, no nothing. We are stuck in this region around 2030, to say the least. And here we are. No life in here. I guess that when we have finally a breakout, it will be huge, and we are going to see a 1,000 pips rally either side of the board. Let's see which one. But in the meantime, it's the boringest pair across the board these days.
Yeah, well, I think it happens quite a lot with the yen. It's sort of like this air traffic controller comparison. Most of the time nothing happens, and then you have a few days of panic.
Yeah. Anyway, and taking a look at the daily again, it looks like the downside seems more favor at this point, because it's posting lower highs, and we are still below the 200 and the 100 simple moving average in the daily, way above current level, and the 100, it's gaining bearish slope, so it seems that the pressure is mounting towards the downside. Yet only if we take 1850, which is the lowest we have been ever since late August, the pair can confirm a more steady decline. In the meantime, it's playing the game of the range.
Exactly. You see another headline regarding the decision in the UK. Bloomberg says that the Bank of England signals that rates can stay low as inflation weakness persists. So, the headlines coming out of Bloomberg are echoed across markets, and they interpret the minutes as dovish. So, yeah, I think, the cable is extending its fall. Again, not huge, but...
Yeah, I'm taking a look at commodities and stocks. Nothing is going on in there. So,
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, take a look at the forward candles. Nothing. So, I guess it's what we said earlier, that the markets are waiting for the Fed.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
biggest event.
Yeah, we have another news now. The Nobel Prize of Literature was awarded to Belarus writer Slevana Alicevic. It's a completely side news, but well, it's a news. And then, so no big news from the BoE. So wait for the minutes.
Yeah, with this sort of relatively dovish meeting minutes, perhaps we can expect that next time all 9 members will vote against the rate hike, or at least there's a growing chance of such an option.
Oh. Sorry.
The next decision of the Bank of England is on November 5th.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking that pretty much is the same happened with Japan these days. When we have a meeting this week, but nothing happened, and we have another one by the end of October when they will review their inflation and growth forecast. So, market is like the central banks this month. Central banks meetings are being sort of an impasse. It's like we're going to focus on the next ones. Okay.
Exactly.
These are not the most relevant ones.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's sort of warm up.
warming up. Yeah, dollar found the buying interest around 53 in Asian hours, right? So I believe that we are going to hold above the level. If we break below it, we may see some short drop decline, but honestly, I'm not seeing much downward potential in here. Can you give me a second, guys? We'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. Sorry, Mauricio.
No problem. Go ahead. I will check if we have any question here. So feel free to go ahead.
Yeah. So regarding what Valeria talked about, the Bank of Japan, they had a meeting this week. They didn't make any changes in policy, and it's indeed the less important meeting because on October 30th they'll release the semi-annual outlook. Only once every 6 months it's released. Last year, at the end of October, they surprised markets with a huge addition to their quantitative easing program in Japan, and together with another move from the government allowing pension funds to buy to enter stock markets, the yen collapsed. So expectations are much higher towards that October 30th meeting in Japan, and in that line also this month's Fed meeting is only a warm-up towards December, and probably the same with the ECB.
I'm here. When is the Fed meeting this month?
Fed meets October 27th, 28th, That means 28th will have the release and the ECB on the 22nd, exactly in 2 weeks.
Yeah, okay, we are going to have fun by the end of the month.
Yes. We'll have everything. So what is your take in the dollar Japanese yen, Yohay?
It's hugging the 120 level. I repeat that every morning in the morning show. I think markets are waiting for more clues, but as Valeria mentioned before, that means we are going to have a big break. There is a political angle to this. I mean, on one hand, in order to reach the goals, Japan would need to maybe enact more stimulus, monetary and fiscal. On the other hand, they wouldn't want to be seen as manipulating their currency. And this is important now because we have the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement that Japan needs a lot, and they want the US Congress to ratify it, to approve it. So we would need, I think maybe that lowers the chances of having another move like we had last year from the Bank of Japan. So yeah, as Valeria said, using the technicals, I think there's a good chance that we'll see dollar yen sliding back down.
Yeah, yesterday a Ashraf lady said something about 115 in the dollar Japanese yen for the coming month. Yeah.
Well,
And the 10 years going as down as 137%. 137 from 220 today, well 220 right now, or in the next weeks, and then coming down to 137.
Well, I do believe that we are going to see a retest of that low, but still, it will depend pretty much on what the Fed does also, right? Because if the Fed really surprises with a rate hike before the year end, that will be giving the pair a strong upward boost. But, well, who knows? It's in central bank hands, and we will have to wait until the end of the month to see the first light in the year and see whether the Fed said something about a rate hike. But, well, they have been saying nothing about a probable date. They have been, as we said earlier, confusing messages, giving confusing messages. So we may see a reaction with the Bank of Japan, and then we will have December. But, well, who knows? At this point, it's a wait and see until the pair breaks the range with a huge catalyst. Pound is holding, but above 53, but still in the lows, still losing ground.
Yeah, post. Oh, I think it's it's extending its falls. So I guess it was really interpreted as dovish, 153.07. Let's see if we can pick another headline or two. Spare capacity diminishing but limited in some sectors. Sort of on one hand, on the other hand. They say also that domestic cost pressures need to be higher, need to be stronger. I think they're a bit worried about inflation.
Yeah, who isn't?
It seems to me they're ignoring the rise in wages that we've seen recently in the UK, but probably they're not ready to go before the Fed. It's not Carney that decides, it's Yellen that decides for the UK, probably.
Okay.
Okay.
Not much action across the board, I do believe. We are going to see a little in the upcoming.
You mentioned that cable got some bids at around 153 in Asia, so
Yeah,
maybe we're seeing more of the same right now.
yeah. What do you think about the euro? It has broken above this trend line for me, right? This is the daily descendant one coming from that high in 1713.
Yeah.
But actually, we're still in between range, right? We need to take, I was thinking about 1340 area or so, right? Before confirming that the pair is able to move actually higher, right? Because it has broke higher, but it has not taken out the last week high yet. So actually, there's not much going on in here. And although slightly bullish in the technical picture, the fact is that the euro has been a laggard these days, right?
Yeah, both safe haven currencies, euro and yen, didn't move that much. So only today we saw it break above this downtrend resistance, but euro I think is a more problematic pair. This might be a false break. It didn't go very far. I think it's not confirmed yet. I don't think the ECB meeting minutes will sort of rock the boat too much, but perhaps the Fed minutes either will confirm the break or
See the pair
show that
coming.
it's really false. Sorry?
Yeah, I see the pair coming back.
Yeah. The very important line that I see is 114.60.
Yeah.
And on the downside, of course, it's 108, but that's very far at the moment.
Top of the
For me, the euro dollar is in a recovery channel. Right now, it's ranging. That's true, but you know there is a very solid support here at 111, and then after 130.10, if it's broken, it could go as far as 114.50, and then 117. But you know, it's all about Fed. It's all about Fed. Yeah, the technicals are there, but the fundamentals are. Yeah, it's a sentiment-driven market right now. So.
China reopened today, right? And I saw that local share markets closed pretty higher. So I believe that so far the risk aversion moves we have been seeing in late August, early September had taken a step aside, right? But that does not mean they are pending above the market and they can research any moment, particularly if the central banks are being dovish, all of them.
Let's see how the S&P is done. Okay.
So let's see if pound dollar will break below 153.
I am having some echo here from any of you guys. Okay. Yeah, I am hearing some echo. Well, stocks are going down now. So the S&P is losing some.
Yeah, but still not seeing much reaction in there.
Yeah, you know, they are in intraday, they are recovering some ground, but if you see in the daily chart that they are on a pretty nice rally from September 29, right now testing the 55 moving average. So what is your take, Valeria, from what happened? Let's do some kind of summary. What happened with the Bank of England, and then what we can expect ahead of the Federal Reserve meeting.
Well, the Bank of England actually left its economic policy unchanged, pretty much as the market expected. There were no surprises in the voting, no surprises in the mild dovish tone the central bank offered. I believe that pretty much we had what we were waiting for. So that's what we are seeing, a little move in the pound and across the market. I don't believe that, as I said earlier, that we have to wait until the Fed, right? The minutes of the Fed, despite they are a bit outdated because, as Yohay remarked, we have payrolls in the way, we have different market talks, officials talking lift off when they decide not to do it in September. But anyway, the market is waiting, okay? So we are not going to see much action right now across the board, I do believe. For the most, I do see commodity currencies holding to their strength, right? And the best performers these days and will probably regain their strength over the coming hours, particularly if stocks remain positive. And for the dollar Japanese yen, as we discussed, nothing to do in there until we have a really huge catalyst, but playing the range in between Fibonacci's. And the euro actually, it's a wait and see game also for the Fed, right? Pound, we said it will find some buying interesting around 53, and it actually did in the short term. But it's going to be a quiet journey today.
Yeah, well, agree with what Valeria said. Maybe of course, we had no change in the MPC, the voting, but we had somewhat some dovish tone regarding uncertainty about inflation. So it wasn't a huge surprise, but it was more negative than positive. That's why we're seeing a pound dollar 40 pips down from the highs. It's important to mention. In the big event, yeah, the Fed. Lots of confusion there. Is it really minutes exactly from September, or have they been modified? And the big question there, of course, we have inflation, employment, China, the dollar, but most importantly, will they or won't they in 2015? Will that be the catalyst to move dollar-yen out of range? I hope so, and also for euro-dollar. But it's hard for me to say at this point which direction it'll take, because we had very confusing messages from the Fed lately. But that's, of course, the big event of today at 6 GMT.
Yeah, they also was claiming, well, saying that the strong sterling has dampened the CPA and the GDP, so they for sure they want to turn down the pound. With that pretty dovish statement, that is going in that way. Okay, guys, so we think we can wrap up right now. What do you think? Or do you?
Yeah, I do agree with you.
This is a quiet session. It's a quiet Bank of England yeah, release. So,
Change soon.
yeah. So, guys, thank you, Valeria, and thank you, Yohay, for coming today. This is a pleasure as always. I just wanted to invite you to our next live event, that is the live analysis room with Dale Pinker, and for tomorrow with Yohay Elam and 8 o'clock in the morning in GMT. Yohay, I want you to say, to talk, to invite the people to your show and explain what are you doing in your show.
Well, you're all invited every morning, Monday to Friday at 8 GMT. We're going to talk about what happened in the previous 24 hours, what's going to happen in the next ones, what phenomena do we see in markets. We also examine the charts, at least 10, sometimes 15 charts, and discuss everything Forex related. The most important part is, of course, your questions, so you're invited. People who have been on the show in the past 2 weeks can provide evidence that we discuss all topics in a wide manner. So come everybody, every morning, 8 GMT, to the morning show.
So there is a lot of people coming to your show, and they ask questions, and you answer, and you all together prepare everything for the day, right? For the midday in Europe, and then the morning, the opening morning in America, right?
Yeah, we cover events that happened in the United States in the previous session, in Asia. Now China is back from holidays, so we have lots of events there. And usually during the show we have some news item coming up in the UK, so we cover that as well, like we did today with the Bank of England. and then bigger events of the US session, what we expect, what market reactions are on the cards, and that's it. Tomorrow, on Friday, we'll talk a bit more about, we'll do a short preview of next week.
Okay, thank you, Yohay, and thank you, Valeria, for coming. Today has been a pleasure, and thank you all you guys for coming to this live coverage. And see you later with Dale, and see you tomorrow with Yohay. Bye bye.
Okay.
Peace.
Thank you, guys. Bye bye. See you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.